Have you ever found yourself lying awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, a knot in your stomach, replaying the same anxious thoughts over and over? Maybe it's a conversation you've had with your children. Or perhaps it's the quiet voice inside your own head, asking those uncomfortable questions about your future. It's a reality we all face, or will face, as we gracefully age the looming decision of where to spend our later years. It's the choice between holding on to the life you've built, within the familiar walls of your own home, or considering a significant change. Perhaps a move to a nursing home, a place that for many feels like giving up a piece of themselves. This isn't just about brick and mortar or daily schedules. It's about identity, independence, and deeply personal anxieties that often go unspoken. There's a secret about this decision that few talk about openly, a collection of hard truths that, once acknowledged, can bring immense clarity and even peace to a choice that feels overwhelming. In this video, we're going to bravely face 6 of these hard truths about living alone versus moving to a nursing home. Truths that aren't meant to scare you, but to empower you with foresight and understanding. They're the real-life considerations that impact your finances, your happiness, your safety, and even your family's peace of mind. And make sure you stay with me until the very end, because I've got a perspective for you that might just surprise you and change how you see everything. Let's dive right into the first hard truth, one that sits at the very heart of this difficult decision: the profound truth of autonomy versus assisted living. For many of us, the very thought of giving up our independence is terrifying. Living alone means waking up when you want, choosing what you eat, deciding when you leave the house, and having your personal space exactly as you like it. It's about maintaining control over the small rituals that make up your day, the daily habits that define your routine and feel uniquely yours. You might cherish the quiet mornings with your cup of tea, looking out at your garden, or the freedom to potter around your home, fixing things or rearranging objects as you please. This fiercely held desire for independence is powerful, and for good reason. It's a testament to a life lived on your own terms. But what happens when daily tasks, once simple, start to become overwhelming? What if the garden becomes too much to manage, or cooking a meal feels like an insurmountable chore? The truth is, while the desire for independence remains strong, the physical and mental capacity to manage everything alone can gradually diminish, sometimes without us even realizing it until we're truly struggling. On the other side, a nursing home, by its very nature, introduces a structured environment. Meal times are set, activities are scheduled, and personal space, while respected, is often more limited. You might lose the freedom to spontaneously decide what to do with your afternoon, or to have a midnight snack from your own fridge. This loss of control over seemingly minor choices can feel like a significant erosion of self. Yet, the other side of this truth is the freedom from the burden of daily chores, medication management, and constant security concerns. Someone else is worrying about the leaky faucet or remembering your pills. The mental load is lifted, allowing you to focus your energy elsewhere. Think about Mrs. Henderson, who for years insisted on living alone in her large family home. She loved her independence, but her adult children worried constantly about her falls and whether she was eating properly. When she finally moved to a nursing home after a serious fall, she initially struggled with the loss of her daily rituals, but after a few weeks, she began to appreciate the peace of mind knowing her meals were handled, her medications were given on time, and there was always someone nearby if she needed help. She still had some choices, like what to wear or which activities to join. But the major burdens were gone. The key here is honestly assessing your true desire for autonomy against your actual capacity, and understanding that autonomy can sometimes mean having the freedom from daily stress, rather than the freedom to do absolutely everything yourself. This leads us directly into the second hard truth, the silent battle of loneliness versus the noise of constant company. When you live alone, especially as friends move away or pass on, and family might live far away, the profound silence of an empty house can become a heavy presence. The lack of spontaneous conversation, the absence of a familiar face to share a laugh with, can lead to a deep sense of social isolation. Even if you're an introvert, there's a fundamental human need for connection, and when that connection is missing, loneliness can become a constant companion. It's the ache of true solitude, where days can pass without a meaningful interaction beyond a quick chat at the grocery store. Mobility issues can further exacerbate this, making it harder to get out and connect with the world. Imagine Mr. Davies, who loved his quiet life, but after his wife passed, the silence in his large house became deafening. He found himself talking to his plants and watching too much television, simply because there was no one else. He felt the weight of that quiet. In contrast, a nursing home offers constant activity and a built-in community, group meals, scheduled events, and always having staff or other residents around can feel like a remedy for loneliness. There's always someone to talk to, someone to share a meal with, and activities that encourage interaction. However, this truth has another side: the lack of true privacy and the potential for forced social interaction. For those who cherish their personal space and quiet moments, the constant noise and activity can be overwhelming. You might long for solitude, a quiet corner to read or think, but find it elusive in a bustling environment. It's like being in a constant hum, where even if you're surrounded by people, you might not feel a genuine connection, or you might just want to be left alone. Mrs. Peterson, for example, thrived on her daily walks and quiet contemplation. When she moved into a shared room at a facility, she struggled deeply with the lack of privacy and the constant chatter of her roommate. Even though she understood the intention was to provide company, the longing for her own quiet space became acute. The takeaway here is to evaluate your personal need for solitude versus your need for community, and to understand that both living situations present distinct challenges to our social well-being, whether you choose to live alone or in a community setting. Building genuine connections and nurturing relationships is key. These first two truths, about our independence and our need for connection, are deeply personal and speak to our core desires. But let's move on to something that touches almost everyone's deepest fears and practical realities: the financial implications. This is the third hard truth, the unspoken financial burden. When you consider living alone, the initial thought might be that it's cheaper than a nursing home. You're already in your own home, after all. But this perspective often overlooks the relentless stream of hidden costs that can silently drain your savings. Think about home maintenance, that roof that needs repairing, the furnace that suddenly breaks down in winter, the constant upkeep of a garden, or even just the regular cleaning. These aren't one-off expenses. They're ongoing and can be substantial. Beyond that, as you age, you might need increasing amounts of paid home care, someone to help with cleaning, cooking, personal care, or even just transportation to appointments. These services, while invaluable, add up very quickly, sometimes costing thousands of pounds or dollars a month. There are also rising utility bills, unexpected medical costs not covered by insurance, and the need for technology upgrades or safety modifications to your home, like grab bars or ramps. The financial drain can be silent, but relentlessly impactful, leading to a situation where you might outlive your savings simply by trying to maintain your independence at home. On the flip side, nursing homes are undeniably expensive, often shockingly so. They can deplete life savings at an alarming rate, a truth that causes immense anxiety for individuals and their families. However, one aspect of this truth is that a nursing home's astronomical monthly fee is typically an all-inclusive cost. This means medical care, food, activities, laundry, and often 24/7 supervision and security are bundled into one predictable, albeit high, bill. While the sticker shock can be profound, it consolidates many of the variable costs you'd otherwise face living at home. Consider the case of Mr. Chang, who was determined to stay in his beloved bungalow. He initially dismissed the idea of a nursing home due to the cost. However, over 2 years, he faced a new plumbing system, a failing air conditioner, and increasing bills for caregivers coming in 3 times a week. When he finally added up these expenses, he realized they were approaching the cost of a nursing home, but without the consistent medical supervision or built-in community. For others, the predictable, albeit high, cost of a nursing home can offer a strange sense of relief, knowing that at least the financial picture, though bleak, is clear and consolidated. The key here is an honest and thorough financial assessment, exploring all options like long-term care insurance, veterans benefits, or Medicaid planning, and having frank discussions with your family about financial realities before a crisis hits. It's about understanding the full spectrum of costs, not just the obvious ones. This naturally leads us to the fourth hard truth: safety and emergency preparedness when living alone versus the potential loss of control over your own care in a nursing home. When you live alone, the fear of falling and being unable to get up, or having a medical emergency with no one around to help, is a very real and valid concern. It's the scenario that keeps many families awake at night. Home security, knowing who might be at your door, or even just remembering to take your medication on time, all falls squarely on your shoulders. The emotional weight of what if can be enormous. You might rely on emergency alert systems or neighbors, but there's always a period of vulnerability until help arrives. Mrs. Gupta, for instance, had a bad fall in her kitchen. She lay there for hours before her daughter, who lived out of town, called and realized something was wrong when Mrs. Gupta didn't answer her phone. That incident alone, the feeling of utter helplessness, was a painful reality. In a nursing home, you have 24/7 supervision. There are medical staff on site, and rapid response to emergencies is a core part of their service. If you fall, someone is there almost immediately. Your medications are administered, and your vital signs are often monitored. This level of immediate, professional care offers immense peace of mind for both the resident and their family. However, the other side of this truth is the potential for feeling infantilized or losing significant control over your daily care routine. While safety is paramount, you might have less say in what time you take your medication, what doctors you see, or even basic choices like when you shower. You might feel like your body and your care are being managed for you, rather than with you. There are concerns about overmedication, especially if residents are given sedatives to manage challenging behaviors rather than addressing the root cause. This loss of agency in your own health decisions can be profoundly upsetting, even if the intentions are good. Think of Mr. Johnson, who prided himself on managing his own health, but after moving to a nursing home, he felt constantly pressured to take medications he didn't feel he needed, or had appointments scheduled without his full input. The safety was there, but his sense of personal dignity felt diminished. The balance here is between the absolute necessity of safety and the desire to maintain as much personal autonomy as possible in how your care is delivered. It requires proactive safety measures at home, like fall detection systems, or diligent advocacy for your choices if you are in a care facility. Financial and safety concerns weigh heavily on our minds, but there are also profound considerations around our very physical and mental well-being. Which brings us to the fifth hard truth: managing health and medical needs on your own versus the quality and continuum of care in a nursing home. When you're living alone, you are solely responsible for remembering all your medications, scheduling every doctor's appointment, arranging transportation to and from those appointments, and then remembering the instructions from each specialist. It's a full-time job for many. A complex web of self-management that can become incredibly burdensome, especially as health needs grow. What if your health declines rapidly and you're unable to manage this anymore? Who will notice the subtle changes, the signs that you need more support? Before a crisis hits, imagine a situation where you have multiple chronic conditions, each requiring different medications and specialist visits. It's exhausting just thinking about it, let alone living it. Mrs. Chen, for example, had early-stage dementia and was determined to stay in her home. Her family set up pill boxes and reminders, but she frequently forgot to take her medicine, or double-dosed, leading to hospital visits. The burden of managing her complex health needs simply became too great for her to handle independently. In a nursing home, the promise is that nurses, doctors, and therapists are on site, or readily available. Care is coordinated, medications are managed by professionals, and emergencies are handled swiftly. This is the ideal. It provides a level of medical oversight and immediate attention that simply isn't possible when living alone. However, the hard truth here is that the quality and continuum of care in nursing homes can vary wildly. Despite the best intentions, staffing shortages are a prevalent issue, leading to overworked personnel and, at times, less personalized attention than residents truly need. The challenge of finding truly compassionate, consistent, and high-quality care can be significant. It's not always a seamless, perfect medical solution. There can be a revolving door of staff, leading to a lack of continuity in care. And it can be difficult for residents to build trusting relationships with their caregivers. Sometimes, even with medical staff present, a deeper understanding of an individual's unique needs or preferences can be missed. Mr. Evans, despite being in a facility with medical staff, felt his specific pain management needs weren't always addressed promptly. Due to staff rotation and communication gaps between shifts, he felt like a number, not an individual. Even with professionals around, this truth underscores the importance of thorough research, asking probing questions, and regular family involvement if a nursing home is considered. It's about understanding that while professional help is available, the human element of care remains critical and variable. Finally, we arrive at the sixth hard truth, the profound emotional toll on family and loved ones. Regardless of the decision, when an elderly parent or loved one chooses to live alone, especially if they are frail or have increasing needs, the constant worry for adult children can be immense. It's the invisible burden of checking in multiple times a day, the anxiety of unanswered phone calls, the frantic rush when there's an emergency from afar. There can be profound guilt about not being physically present enough, or about not being able to provide all the care that's needed. Adult children often find themselves juggling their own careers, families, and lives, while simultaneously carrying the heavy responsibility for their aging parents. This can lead to caregiver burnout, strained relationships, and a deep sense of helplessness. Mrs. Rodriguez's children lived in different states. Every time their mother didn't answer the phone right away, their hearts would pound. They spent countless hours coordinating care from a distance, feeling overwhelmed and guilty that they couldn't be there more often. The decision to move a loved one to a nursing home also comes with its own heavy emotional baggage. There's often profound guilt over the decision itself, feelings of having put them away, or not being able to care for them personally. Navigating complex emotions, potential disagreements among siblings, and the inevitable emotional strain that arises from such a life-altering choice can be incredibly challenging. It's not uncommon for families to feel a sense of loss, even relief, but also a deep sadness and questioning if they've made the right choice. However, the other side of this truth is that a nursing home can, in some cases, alleviate the immediate, hands-on caregiving burden on families, allowing visits to become quality time focused on emotional connection rather than strenuous caregiving duties. It can shift the relationship from caregiver-recipient back to parent-child. reducing conflict that often arises from the stresses of direct care. For some families, this provides a much-needed respite and the peace of mind knowing that basic needs are met. Even if the emotional struggles of the decision remain, the key here is open, honest, and compassionate conversations with family. Ideally, long before a crisis hits, involving everyone in the decision-making process, acknowledging everyone's fears and feelings, and recognizing that the best option is often the one that creates the most peace for everyone involved, not just the perfect solution. So, we've walked through 6 hard truths today: the balance of autonomy, the battle with loneliness, the hidden financial burdens, the reality of safety versus control, the complexities of medical care, and the profound emotional toll on families. These aren't easy things to talk about, but ignoring them doesn't make them go away. The good news is, you're not alone in facing these challenges, and you have more power than you think. Understanding these truths empowers you to make informed choices, to advocate for yourself, and to have those courageous conversations with your loved ones long before a decision needs to be made under duress. It's about planning, preparing, and prioritizing what truly matters to you in your later years, whether it's maintaining absolute independence, seeking robust community, ensuring financial stability, prioritizing safety, receiving consistent medical care, or easing the burden on your family. Often, it's a blend of these things, a delicate balance that is unique to each individual. Remember, there's no single right answer for everyone, and what works today might change tomorrow. The goal isn't perfection, but peace of mind and dignity in whatever path you choose. I'd love to hear your experiences, your thoughts, your own hard truths and lessons learned in the comments below. Sharing our journeys helps us all feel less alone and more prepared for what life brings. If this conversation resonated with you, and you found it helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It truly helps us reach more people who need to hear this important message. And make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more valuable discussions like this one, helping you navigate this incredible chapter of life with confidence and clarity. Remember, life is a journey of choices, and at every age, you deserve to live with dignity, purpose, and peace of mind. Keep living your best life every single day.